well-being, and not merely the absence of disease. It is the most important aspect of our existence which cannot be ignored. Good morning, everyone. Today, I, Kamna Joshi, welcome you all to today's webinar on World Health Day. World Health Day is celebrated on 7 April every year by the World Health Organization. This day assumes an even greater significance in the wake of the COVID 19 pandemic, which has made us fully realize the importance of robust healthcare system. This day highlights different issues that affect health and general well-being levels across the globe. And what more needs to be done to create healthier communities with more equitable access to healthcare systems? With this year's theme, Our Planet, Our Health, the World Health Organization wants to focus global attention on urgent actions that are required to keep us and the planet healthy. This theme highlights the link between climate change and health issues as well. Today, we have with us eminent panelists comprising our very own respected principal ma'am, Mrs. Asha Prabhakar, Ms. Surbe Bhalla, public policy expert and technical expert PATH, Ms. Ritika Samadar, RD Chief Clinical Nutritionist, Regional Health, Max Healthcare Saket, BPPS Noida alumnus Mr. Saurabh Kaura, specialist, Intercept, Sydney, Australia, along with our along with Mr. Manuranjan Sahu, senior manager, Sabic Agri-Nutrients Company, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Thank you all for joining us today, and I extend a warm welcome to all of you. Now, I would like to invite Janvi Tandon, President, Health and Wellness Club, to give the opening address. Over to you, Janvi.
Thank you, ma'am. Good health is the foundation on which the success of your life is built. Good morning, everyone. Today I,
Janvi, please switch on your mic.
Ma'am, am I not audible? Ma'am, I audible?
Yes, Janvi, please continue. Yes, Janvi, please continue.
Good morning, everyone. Today I, Janvi Tandon, President of the Health and Wellness Club, would urge all of you for the World Health Day commemoration. Let's carry forward a vision together and build a world with clean air, safe water, and sanitation, where healthy food is available to all and cities are livable, where economies are climate resilient. I would also like to welcome our esteemed panelists to share their vision in creating societies focused on good health and mental well-being. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Janvi. To begin with, we have our first panelist, Ms. Surbi Bhalla. Ms. Surbi has joined us as a technical expert, rice fortification. She was last working as director at Indian Beverage Association with extensive experience of over 14 years in managing end-to-end public health and nutrition programs. She has worked closely with government, food industry, development agencies, and academia, especially in the food sector, with agencies like Confederation of Indian Industry, UNICEF, and Public Health Foundation of India in the past. She has represented India in multiple national and international forums with contributions recognized in public-private partnerships in nutrition by World Food Prize winners in 2018. So, Ms. Surbi, I would like to know your take in creating healthy India. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much for this very, very warm welcome. I take all my pride in being given this opportunity. So first of all, I would like to start off with a big thank you to Miss Asha Prabhakar, Principal Ma'am, for giving me this opportunity, and especially also to Miss Vidhi Oberoi. It is my proud privilege to be able to interact today with the young and brilliant minds of India. Very, very happy to be speaking today. So thank you so much. Just want to start off with thanking all of you. I would really like to extend to all of you a very, very happy World Health Day. I think this is the day when we celebrate who we really are, because being healthy is essential to all of us as individuals. First of all, I would like to open up with two Sanskrit shlokas. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kashid Dukpak Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let peace always prevail. As the Bhagavad Gita says, Yuka Harivasya Yukta Chestasya Karmasu Yukta Swapna Bodhasya Yoga Bhavya Dukhanaha, which actually means the one whose diets and movements are balanced, whose actions are proper, whose hours of sleeping and waking are regular, and who follows the path of meditation is the destroyer of pain and attains happiness. So we do understand from our ancestors and from what was written in our ancient books that health has a lot to do with not just what we eat, but how we act and what we do, how we think. The foundations of health is much more beyond what we eat. So I will be elaborating a little bit more on that in the coming next 7 to 10 minutes. Just need to project my slide for the same. Can you see my slides?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I'll keep my comments very precise. I think this slide I want to specifically share with all of you that the dimensions of health are multitudinal. We sometimes think that what we eat, how much we exercise, how much hydration we do, uh, are just times of sleeping and waking up, and how we act in and around with our own selves and with our families and our extended communities. That is what health is. But today I think being given this excellent opportunity to be able to interact with the young and brilliant upcoming minds of India, I want to take this opportunity to talk to you about the 3 S's of health. When we look at a broader holistic perspective of what does it mean to be healthy, uh, it means to be healthy is that every individual has to be empowered in their own self to be able to lead a healthy life, which will lead to a healthy community and ultimately healthy societies and a healthy world. First of all, we will talk about science. So why is science important? I'm sure a lot of you are study science in school. You are going through subjects in in your classes, as well as 11th, 12th class students might have specialization in sciences who have a lot of interest in sciences. So science per se in the domain of health and nutrition definitely has a very, very big role to play. First of all, we know that we have recently experienced that new inventions like vaccines, they have helped save lives. These kind of inventions have bridged the society to make different communities come together. We have seen a very clear example of vaccines being made in the West, which were used all across the world. So we do see that science and innovations have a very, very big role to play in bringing health to everyone. Secondly, the most important criteria of a good healthy society is role of public health policies. So we know that in India, under the Department of Health, we have the Food Safety Standards Authority of India, who are responsible to be creating policies and programs which create a sound environment for delivery of access to nutritious foods, healthy environments, and a lot of programs which are being run under the same are ICDS, MDM, PDS. Most recently, a program that was launched by the government of India is called Eat Right India. Yeah, this is one of the biggest programs that was created by the government of India to make safe food available to the people of India. They also run a program called as SNF at School, which means safe and nutritious food availability at school. So many schools across India have taken up this program in their premises and are following it. And it has been a very successful program in the last 1 or 2 years. Thirdly, I would love to talk about medical and food innovations. So, all of you, I'm sure, in the pandemic, everyone turned chef and everyone was, using their excellent cooking skills right from children to, everyone in the family. So I think food innovations is a very upcoming thing, not just at the house level, but even at the technical engineering level. A good example of that would be alternative proteins. We know that institutes like the Good Food Institute these days, they are deriving proteins from vegetarian sources, and they are also being artificially created. So such new areas are being opening up in the market, and these kind of innovations are also creating a leeway into entrepreneurship. I am sure a lot of people who are listening to us today, they want to grow up and do jobs, but some of you might want to do things of your own. So there are, budding young entrepreneurs who are listening to this talk today. I would really like to encourage you that food and nutrition is a great area with connected areas of agriculture and horticulture, which are very upcoming in the coming time, and would encourage you to take up entrepreneurship ventures in this area. For example, I'm just sharing with all of you, there is something called as Crop Connect, which basically helps producers from outside of India to kind of do projects within India where some crops are grown specifically for nutraceutical purposes. So these kind of new startups are coming up, which is a great area for expansion. Science per se has a very important role to play in today's society and contributes a lot in the areas of health. Secondly, spirituality. So, spirituality, if we say it's not just sitting in a corner and doing meditation, what I understand and what I would like to extend to all of you today as a possibility is that the aspects of health are not just physical, they are also mental, emotional, and spiritual. So, when we talk about physical health, diet, exercise, hydration, sleep, definitely very, very important. All of us know, especially in the pandemic, how important it was for all of us to, maintain all of this to stay healthy. Secondly, mental health is again a very rising phenomena. We have seen a lot of people going through mental challenges, mental illnesses these days. So, doing exercises which help de-stress and also balance your emotions is very, very important. And last but not the least, spiritual health is something that is also very important, which is actually something which helps you to come back to your own self. And through meditation, it helps in self realization. So, health per se has four dimensions, which are physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Thirdly, I would like to talk about service. As I am talking to the young and brilliant minds of India, and all of you after at some point in time will complete school and move out, and even right now are pursuing and studying areas which you are passionate about. I would like to extend the possibility to all of you that wherever you go in the long run, where you create your career aspirations, you take up your passions, you might indulge yourself in a social entrepreneurship venture. The angle of your work should always be from the angle of service to society. All of us are doing things for profit. We are trying to make a living, but definitely when there is an angle of service, it increases our coming back to the society and giving to the society. So definitely it will empower you as an individual, and thus of course the community and the society at large will be empowered. So we see these three circles of influence, microcosm being a part of the macrocosm, where you are in the center. Your personal health is in the center. When you are an empowered individual, you will ultimately, of course, lead to broader societal health, which will lead to planetary health. So these are the three layers with which it works. So as all of us are independently empowered and healthy, we are leading to a better societal health and on the large, a better planetary health. So the main key message that I want to give with this slide is think sanitary but act personal. So it is our own responsibility to take care of ourselves and stay healthy so that overall the society and the groups that we move in are healthy. Just moving on slightly towards the challenges that India faces in terms of nutrition, we see that anemia is still on the rise. Children, you can see with the NFHS data, that 58% of children are anemic, 35% of children are underweight, 53% of women reproductive age are anemic, which is they have iron deficiencies, which is a huge number, which is almost half the population of reproductive women in India. So we see that iron and B12 and folic acid deficiencies prevail in the society. So even though all of us are consuming healthy diets, at large, if we see at the population level, India is definitely facing a lot of challenges in terms of nutrition and health. Quickly, just also sharing with you the way to combat it. Definitely, for at the population level is consuming a healthy diet, exercising, sleeping, taking care of physiological needs. When the child is born, the needs are different from 0 to 2. During childhood, during adulthood, during pregnancy, lactation, all of these phases have different requirements, and a lot of us who are lucky, who have access to healthy and nutritious food and are living in environments where we are getting safe food, we are very blessed. But a lot of population who are out there, who belong to marginalized parts of the society, they are still tackling with this problem. And the government of India had taken up a huge responsibility to tackle this problem. Thus, by the Prime Minister of India, fortification was taken up as an answer to deal with this. And our organization path have recently come up with a program where we are kind of working on technically providing fortified rice and cereals to the community in the government programs. So fortification per se is not an answer to the problem of malnutrition, but it definitely is a part of the answer for people who do not have access to healthy foods. So, with that, I would like to close in and reiterate the fact to all of you that you are the center of your healthy environment. So, personalization is very important. You are unique as an individual, as a child, as a young, budding adolescent, as a future bright mind of India. The responsibility lies with you to stay healthy and to spread the happiness around and take care of yourself and take care of the units around you, your family, your parents, friends at school, and when you move out of school, when you start working, it is you who are the center of your universe and responsible for creating a healthy world out there. So with that, I would like to close this presentation and thank ma'am for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I'm very glad. I'm glad that you talked about mental health, because whenever we talk about health, we emphasize mainly on the physical aspect, but we never talk about how mental health is as important as physical health. I would like to ask one question. You had talked about food innovation. Definitely, science is progressing, and there is innovation in food. And you talked about how proteins is being created artificially, and many young children have already started taking whey powder or soy powder for gaining mass. So I would just like to know if it is healthy to consume at this age or at any age processed food.
Um, if you if we go at the first take, I think a normal balanced diet is the answer to the question. We have enough good protein sources available in vegetarian as well as people who consume non-vegetarian to be able to deal with their protein requirements for the day. And as we know that 1 kg, one gram per kg body weight is standard for consumption. So I would not like to vouch for supplementation in the first go. But having said that, if a person still has some extra needs, like for example, a person is an athlete or is doing over and above, a normal moderate or high activity, and I'm sure Ritika will be able to give more details. There are requirements, then supplementation is suggested. But at large, at a population level and for daily needs, I think a balanced diet is the best way to approach this. So yeah.
Thank you. Miss Ritika, would you like to add on to what Miss Survi has said, or would you like to?
Yeah. So first and foremost, yeah, a very, very good morning to all of you. And thank you for having me here. Lovely listening to Surbhi as always. So yes, as a therapeutic nutritionist working in the hospitals and all, so obviously we definitely say a balanced, healthy diet is the answer to most of our problems, right? But yes, of course, somebody is in a disease state, probably in a recovery phase, or probably, yes, the requirements are very, very high, people going to the gym, etc. But definitely anybody taking any kind of supplements. We've seen this a lot during the pandemic, and now is the time when we are, the OPDs and all are rushed with people coming with side effects of these supplements, be it your multivitamins, be it your protein supplements and all. So it's always advisable, whoever is taking protein supplements, please refer to a qualified dietitian. She will actually do your diet recall, see how much is your requirement, how much you can get from a natural diet, and the balance is something which can be supplemented from the supplements which we prescribe. But it is very, very important to first refer and meet a person so that who can actually advise you on how much to be taken and when to be taken, because yes, the side effects are very, very scary, leading to kidney problems, especially for young children and young adolescents, because while they're doing a lot of activities in terms of gymming, etc., they do not follow the other requirements, like having a lot of water with that, making sure that you are hydrated very well enough, you're taking some other supplements in terms of your micronutrients. Only then would the supplement in terms of whey protein, which you just said, would have an effect. So ideally no, but in case if you're taking, please take it under the supervision of a clinical nutritionist.
Thank you so much. Miss Ritika Samadar is our next panelist, and she is a registered dietitian and is presently the regional head dietetics in Max Healthcare. She has an extensive experience in the field of nutrition and dietetics, spanning more than 27 years. So over to you, ma'am. We would love to hear from you how our young children can improve their diet and health. Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you so much once again. So, as Surbhi was talking about, she was talking from the community perspective. So yes, when we look at health, it is not just the absence of disease, but yes, definitely in totality, when we look into health, there should be a social well-being. There should be, of course, along with the physical well-being, the spiritual and the mental well-being is very, very important. But working in a hospital, I would give in my aspect of what is actually being disease free, or well, what is being actually healthy. And I think this pandemic has made us realize how important it is to be healthy. Every pandemic or any situation for that matter, I always tell youngsters and children for sure that it will definitely teach you a lesson. So this pandemic has made us realize how important it is to be healthy. And we saw during this pandemic that people who were healthy, people who had a very good immunity, were the ones who were able to come out much more stronger, were able to take in the infection and get recovered completely. And of course, I'm sure going forward, and I hope not, but in case if we have some similar pandemics coming up, we as a country would probably be able to do face it much, much better and come out much stronger. The basic thing is, of course, your health. And when we talk about health, the first thing which comes into our mind is, of course, what you're eating. So you are what you eat is, what I'm sure all the children have grown up listening to it and hearing it and reading it from your books, but it holds very much true. So yes, your health is directly related to what you're eating, and especially for children, it is very, very important, because when you eat healthy, you not only inculcate good eating habits, which probably when you go get into adulthood or when you go old, you will follow in the same pattern, because that becomes your habit. But at the same time, when children of today are healthy and eating healthy, we're probably looking forward to a healthier society, healthier country, and healthier planet as such. So, this time theme is very, very apt, I think, more so looking into the pandemic and coming out of the pandemic, and of course, the various other problems of pollutions and, the environmental and the climate issues which we have. So it's not just looking into your health, but remember, even each one of us looking into our health. And I think Surbhi showed that graph, the diagram very, very aptly, which talks about that you first need to look after your health, but in the long run, you probably doing a big favor on the planet and the society as a whole, because if each one of us are healthy, probably we're getting into a better, healthier nation, and of course a society as a whole. Now, especially for children, I like to emphasize over here, now that they're out after almost 2.5 years and back into the school. And as I can see from the screen, the children are sitting in the class and probably having a wonderful time just to be, socially interacting with people, which was lacking for 2 years. So what is very, very important this time is to make sure that we build up on our immunity, because remember, immunity is something which is an ongoing thing. It does not develop overnight. It is something which, we probably have got something from our parents while we were in the womb of our parent, of our mother, and then over a period of time we develop it. And how do we develop it? Different factors. Yes, diet is important, but besides diet, also the physical activity you do, remember, that also aids on to your immunity. Of course, besides that, your weight is a very, very important factor. And I think as children, it should be, these habits should be inculcated, that yes, underweight, of course, is a major problem, because that also reduces your immunity. But overweight also becomes a very, very important factor, because during this pandemic, we saw the majority of the population which got affected was the people who had obesity over overweight. So yes, overweight is a very, very important factor. Also, things like stress, adequate sleep is very, very important when we look into the immunity. From the diet aspects, of course, I'm sure all of us are eating very, very healthy, and thanks to pandemic, we were eating home food, and hopefully we probably started liking eating home food more as kids. So, eating natural, healthy, balanced diet is something which is very important. For children, make sure that they have a lot of these seasonal fruits and vegetables locally available, nothing too expensive or exotic. So whatever is your region specific should be the ones which is best suited for you. Also, a lot of protein, because we understood that protein was the main ingredient when you look into your immunity level. So as children, having your eggs, having your nuts, having a lot of dals and dahi, etc., are the crux of healthy living. So that's very, very important. And hopefully going forward, I'm sure all the children are vaccinated. So we when we talk about immunity, we call it the innate and the adaptive immunity. So yes, things like vaccines and also are equally important when you look into your immunity aspects. But besides that, your physical activity, how good your health is, and what you're eating has an equal impact on your good health. So that's what I had to add on to what Surbhi said to the community as whole. But yes, for us as practitioners in the hospital, we really want people to be healthy, so that come what may, we come out much stronger from any kind of a pandemic or disease or any unlikely untoward situation.
Thank you so much. It was lovely hearing your, views on the diet and balanced diet. And I hope that the children who are listening to you right now can change their diet and have a more healthy and balanced diet, because we have been noticing that many children have come to school post pandemic, they are overweight or they have gained weight or they have lost weight. So a healthy and balanced diet is much required. Other than that, I've also noticed that the sleep pattern of our students has now changed. They are now waking up till late hours. Either they are working on their projects or watching movies, because it was pandemic time. The school was, they were getting up on their own at their ease. So what do you suggest, that along with diet, how can they improve their sleep cycle, because insomnia is becoming rampant in teenagers these days?
Right. Very, very important. And as I already mentioned, that, your sleep has to do greatly to your immunity also. So, adequate sleep is very much required. What we recommend is about 7 to 8 hours of an uninterrupted sleep, which is very, very important. But yes, it's interesting to know that what you eat has a direct impact on your sleep pattern too. And especially over here, I like to emphasize, because I think during the pandemic, at least we were flooded with a lot of patients and our clients who wanted, were for following this different kind of diets, like high protein diet, giving up carbohydrates completely, either to lose weight or probably, look better, or whatever be the reasons. But at least for children, for the young generations, till the time you're about 20, 25, remember, carbohydrates are the crux for healthy living. But yes, the type of carbohydrate is very important. So for children, the whole grains are very, very important. So do not miss out on your chapati, do not miss out on your rice. Have your dalias and oats and all the lovely millets. Interestingly, next year is the International Year of Millets, where we are going to talk a lot about carbohydrates, the healthy carbohydrates. And very interesting to know that when you have carbohydrates at night, especially the whole grain, they actually have something called tryptophan. And I'm sure children who are studying science in class 11th and 12th do know about it. That helps you to release serotonin, which is a calming hormone. And that is very much required not only for adequate sleep, but also to reduce your stress levels. So specifically, and I think all of us also have grown up, like having a glass of milk before going off to sleep. So now if you connect the dots, you know that milk is a good source of tryptophan. When you have tryptophan, it releases serotonin, which gives you a very, very good sleep. So these are naturally. So again, we really don't need to go back to supplementations, go back to medicines, or probably visit a specialist or a doctor if I'm stressed, or if I'm, yes, of course, if you need help, definitely approach. But just doing modifications in your diet is what actually helps you to get your adequate sleep, reducing on your stress, focusing on your studies better, have a better concentration, have having more able to focus much better in your studies. And all of it is nothing but just having a healthy diet, exercising very well. And of course, I would definitely say if you need help, please approach your teachers or somebody. But ideally, eating healthy and doing good amounts of exercise is all what is required if you want to be a healthy adult, and of course being a healthy nation as a whole.
Thank you so much for answering my question. And we have Janvi. She wanted to ask something. So over to you, Janvi.
Thank you, ma'am. So, ma'am, my question is that being a senior student, I have noticed that all of us senior students are currently focused on studies. And also, we are at a crucial stage of deciding our careers. So, it is very important for us to concentrate and remain stress free altogether. So, can you please emphasize on the fact if a good diet can actually play a role in the same? And if yes, then how?
Yeah. So, of course, this is like a session itself, where you can just talk about the food and the brain food and what are the good foods for the brain and how to increase your concentration. But just to keep it very short and crisp, certain points which all of us need to understand. First is, especially for children going to school and even young adults, like in your 10th, 12th and all, start the day right. If you've missed out on your breakfast, remember your concentration or your focus in studies would always be very, very low. Now, what you have for breakfast, equally important. You must have protein, because that helps you to, release a sustained energy. So rather than just probably having a couple of biscuits or probably having a glass of juice, spend a little time to start your day right by eating a healthy breakfast where you can have your egg or you can have your chila or dalia. Second is hydration is the key. Remember, the nerve conduction, which actually sends messages to the brain, you need good amount, you need to be hydrated well. And which as children we generally tend to overlook. And even as professionals, we talk about all the nutrients like proteins, carbohydrates, zinc, etc. We forget to tell the child that you need to drink adequate water. Very, very important. Hydration is the key when you really want to focus or concentrate on your studies. Yes, there are certain foods which are called the brain foods, and just to list a few of them, and which every child should be having it on a daily basis. A handful of nuts, right? Very, very important. They're omega-3, good source of fiber, good source of protein. So be it your almonds, be it your walnuts, but a handful of nuts is very, very important. I remember as children running for your bus, and your mother used to be running after you, giving you, do teen badam kha ke jao. So now, having studied nutrition, I know how important that is, right? So don't miss out on your almonds and walnuts. Eggs are very, very healthy. Remember, I'm sure a lot of children would be learning about choline, which is like a brain food and helps you in better transmission, nerve transmission, etc. How do I get it? From the egg. So having an egg every day, I am able to focus or concentrate much better. Fish, again, omega-3, very, very healthy. Whole grains, I've already talked about. Do not miss out on your grains. So be it your lunch, be it your dinner, ask for your roti, ask for your dalia, ask for the various dals, etc., which is very, very important. And of course, besides that, there are certain other foods like, which of course we know are very, very healthy, like, your turmeric. Haldi wala doodh, I think we've done it a lot, overdone it in fact. But yes, having it on a natural form in your daily basis really helps us a lot. Especially talking about certain fruits like berries. चाहे वो शतूज हो, चाहे वो जामुन हो, whatever is the local berries or the fruits which are available, they are very, very healthy. Banana, I want to emphasize, because I think we become also over conscious about our health, and especially girls, young girls, I would say, they're not having banana because they put on weight. So let me emphasize banana. If you Google also, it's the most energizing fruit on earth, and of course, locally cheap and freely available. So all of us should be having banana. Besides, of course, being an energetic food, it is very high on magnesium, which also is very helpful for your nerve conduction and for your brain concentration. So these are just normal, locally available food. We don't have to go into exotic things. But even if we focus on these on a daily basis, I think we'll come out as a more intelligent nation as a whole.
Thank you so much, Miss Ritika, for such an enlightening, session and telling us all about, good and balanced healthy diet. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Our next panelist is Mr. Saurabh Kaura, who is an alumni of BBPS Noida from the 2013 batch. Currently, he is working as a marketing and growth specialist at a rapidly growing startup in Sydney. He went to Australia in 2019 to pursue his master's in international business from UNSW Sydney, which is a global top 50 university. Saurabh was nominated with the prestigious New South Wales International Student of the Year Award in Australia last year for his significant contribution towards the student community of his university. It is our pleasure to welcome him to this panel discussion today. Over to you, Saurabh.
Thank you so much, Ritika, and thank you so much, to all the invitees. I really want to thank Asha Prabhakar ma'am and also Vidhi ma'am who invited me to this panel discussion. Coming back to the community of Balwadi Public School, Noida, kind of takes me to those nostalgic memories of my childhood, because that was the school where I spent my first 14 years of my life. And I can also see half of my school teachers joining here on Google Meet. So it's kind of taking back to those memories which I had, and it's always a great thing to chat with the students, interact with the students here also. I like interacting with international students who come from India, and it's always a great thing to give back to the community by sharing the knowledge that we have, sharing the things that we know. And I'm sure that whatever Surbi and Ritika have touched based upon are some critical elements of health, which every student should take care of. And I think last year I also started off with my own podcast in Sydney, where I also touched based upon different topics related to mental health and physical health. And I think, as rightly touched based upon by Surbi and Ritika, that how important it is for you as a student to not only take care of your physical health, but also manage your mental health. Because as a student, there are a lot of things which are going on in our mind. We are generally tensed with our studies. We are tensed with different kind of projects which are running in the university, in the school. So that's the thing which we have to overcome on a daily basis of time. And there are some really good habits which you can adopt. One of them is obviously to have enough sleep during your daytime. So have good sleep, and also eat healthy, as was touched base upon Surbi as well, that if you're not eating healthy, it's very difficult for you to continue with the same amount of energy during the day and maintain a good health. One of the best things you can do is have a good breakfast, have a healthy breakfast in the morning, so that you can have enough energy during the daytime, even if you skip one meal during the day. Because if you have healthy breakfast which is full of nutrition, you can retain your energy, you can sustain your energy for a long period of time in that way. um, I think when I was back in school, this was very common for students to get fainted during the morning assembly hours. And one of the reasons for that was either they have not eaten enough food in the morning, or probably they have skipped on some of the meals. And that's the main reason when we say that you are having enough sleep, you are taking care of your nutrition. If you are doing that, that's the foundation of better health. And also eat healthy. One of the best things which you can do is have a good breakfast, have a healthy breakfast in the morning, so that you can have enough energy during the day. Because if you have healthy breakfast which is full of nutrition, you can retain your energy, you can sustain your energy for a long period of time in that way. I think when I was back in school, this was very common for students to get fainted during the morning assembly hours. And one of the reasons for that was either they have not eaten enough food in the morning, or I think in the last 2 years, COVID-19 has really taught us a lot of new things. COVID-19 has taught us that you need to boost your immunity. People who were more immune, whose bodies were more immune to diseases like these, were able to overcome even the severe times of Delta variant. No, nobody can forget what happened during the Delta variant last year in India. It was a very devastating time when we lost so many lives, which could, some of them could have been prevented if they had better immunity. If their bodies were capable enough of fighting against the virus. But unfortunately, we lost those lives. And I think that's the main thing. These are some of the habits which you need to follow. Eat healthy, have enough water, so that you keep yourself hydrated during the daytime. Of course, India is home to giving rise to yoga, and yoga is one of the best ways to remove or get rid of any anxiety or depression. As a student, you have depression or anxiety related to your exams, or it can be related to the competition you are facing with other students. And yoga and meditation, I guess, is the best way of getting rid of that, because then you can directly get connected to your inner soul and understand that actually the competition is, the only competition in the life is actually going on with you and not with others. And I think that's when you start realizing the fact that you need to perform better and give your best, so that you achieve the results and get what you deserve in the life. Another thing is, have your personalized schedule. One of the best things COVID had taught us that when we were sitting back at home, we could create our own schedule, create our own timetable, because we didn't have to attend schools or universities. We didn't have to go to a place. Rather, we were learning from our own places, but we still had to follow some schedule. And and of course, as a student, it's very important for you to not only focus on your studies, but also focus on other things. Focus on the things that you love doing. Say, for example, some of the students might be good in singing. Some of the students might be good in dancing, or any of the sports that you are playing. So these are the things which you can explore in your free time, and also maybe get better in those things. Some of the students I know who were great in sports now eventually entered into sports as their main career later on. So you never know that how well you utilize your free time can actually take you to a path where you start doing it on a full-time basis as well. And I think that's the power of learning a hobby. And in learning a hobby, you also make sure that you are taking care of your health as a whole. You're building your physical health, and you are also staying away from any anxiety or stress. In school, in Bal Bharati Public School, I still remember we had counselors to take care of children from time to time, to counsel them if any student is lagging behind from that. So, you have your counselors. If you are feeling stressed out, if you are having any kind of stress, you can always engage with your counselors, mental health counselors, talk to them, and just share anything with them, because sometimes if you are facing anything, it's always better to share it with a friend, share it with someone, so that you can get eased out of it. You don't feel too much stressed out. It can be something related to your academics. It can be related to any other thing which is going on in the school, which is making you feel uncomfortable. And that's the time when you can approach your friend and just have that small conversation. I'm talking from Australia. In Australia, we celebrate a day in October which is called Are You Okay? And Are You Okay is actually a day where every person just checks on with their friends to see if they are okay or not. Because sometimes we say we are okay, but actually there are a lot of things we are hiding within us, and we are not feeling okay. And that's the time when your close friends come into play, right? So you can talk to them openly about what's going on. Um, Now, if you're sitting in your classroom, you have got your best friend sitting next to your bench. Maybe just share something with them which is making you feel uncomfortable. After this class, you might see that you are feeling less stressed out, you're feeling less anxious. If you don't feel comfortable talking to your teacher, because I know that there is always some sort of hesitancy when you're sitting in a classroom, because we feel that we need to showcase respect to our teachers, and it's always difficult for us to have the same level of conversation with the teachers as we can have with our friends. So Just take your friends as an example. When your class teacher leaves after this session, talk to your friends about anything which you are feeling uncomfortable about. And I think that's the best way of getting rid of stress. Also, some of the people might be fond of reading books, listening to music. I think those are great ways of getting rid of stress. So if you love listening to good music, if you are fond of staying in nature, maybe just go out for a stroll during the breaks, and I'm sure that you will feel relaxed. A lot of studies, research studies have explored that if you spend time in nature, if you spend time with plants, and simply with nature, as nature has given, as God has given us, you will feel less stressed. And that's also one of the ways of increasing your concentration and focus levels. Now, some of the steps which I definitely feel can be taken on, and since I'm talking from Australia, we'll be bringing on that international aspect as well into this. That from the students' point of view, we have already talked about that students need to make sure that they open up about their mental health. They become more active in their physical life and they take care of their nutrition. That is from the students' point of view. Of course, there can be some steps taken from the school's point of view as well when we start trying to educate our children. And I'm sure that this is a part of our curriculum in Bal Bharati Public School Noida, where we try to inculcate the knowledge um, through the parents, through the students, so that they can learn more about what they should eat, what they shouldn't eat, and also just this simple fact I'm sure that you'll be taking forward is to open up, feel comfortable talking about anything wrong going on, so that we are not committing anything which might be wrong or which might be an embarrassment for our teachers or parents. Another thing is from the government point of view, I definitely feel that India still lacks a strong investment in health. If I see in Australia, there is a strong investment which goes on health. There is a strong focus on cleanliness and good hygiene. I think that's something which India can focus on in the nearby time, in the nearby future, because um, if we can focus on good health, good hygiene, it can take us a long way forward. Of course, India faces challenges like high population. Population density is always a big challenge for India. But again, we can still overcome those challenges and come out with some innovative solutions. Some of the solutions have been presented by the current government. And I think similar steps, if the community is taking all together, definitely those problems can be solved. At the student level, as I just pointed out, you need to come together with your parents and teachers to make sure that you follow a good routine, a healthy routine, taking in which you have sufficient sleep, you are getting up early, taking proper breakfast, not only focusing on studies but also focusing on some extracurricular activities like sports or any kind of things that you want to do, and of course have good food and water during the daytime. And finally, I'll just end with a quote that only a healthy mind and body can produce healthy results for you in your life. So if you can take care of your health, everything will fall in place automatically. Because if your body is healthy, your mind is healthy, you will be able to take a sound decision at the end of the day, which is also leading to achieving your goals, your personal goals and professional goals. Thank you so much.
So wonderful listening to you, Saurabh. And if you remember school corridors, you remember our display boards. And to observe this World Health Day, we also thought on similar lines that you were talking and approaching to teachers and to sharing things. We created kind of a health and well-being board and put emojis over there that I am great, I am okay, I am struggling. And we had our own apprehensions that children would not come forward to share, but it'll be I was surprised today morning during zero period itself. It was full of stickers, and children have actually pasted emojis against my that well-being board, and they are ready to express because they are not writing their names, but they are ready to express themselves emotionally. So yes, after school reopening, we also realized that children are opening up and they want to share. And I was happy, as a teacher, I was so happy to see I am great emojis were maximum on the well-being board. So that kind of emotional expression that we gave them the platform for was great, and it was good that we are still on the same line. It's good to hear that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's one of the things that, which you as a teacher can take forward is just to reduce that hesitancy gap so that students feel
Yes.
more open to talk to you. And I think that's a good initiative that you are taking, because I think if teachers can, just change that relationship of not just acting as a teacher, but more of acting as a friend, as a counselor, in that the students will also feel more open to share other things which are going on in their mind. Yeah.
Definitely, our children are listening to the alumnus, the so-called Balbharti tradition of calling seniors as Bhaiya. Please listen to Saurabh Bhaiya. Approach your friends, approach your teachers. Children, don't feel stressed out. Eat healthy breakfast, because still he remembers after so many years that during assembly children faint. So next, I would like to tell him personally कि अब कोई बेहोश नहीं होता है, सब breakfast खा के आते हैं. Thank you, Saurabh. Over to Kamna, please.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Our next panelist is Mr. Manuranjan Sahu, an agribusiness professional working in fertilizer and crop nutrition industry. In graduation, he topped the university in agriculture science, completed his MBA from National Institute of Agriculture Extension Management, and has been serving the industry for over 2 decades now. He is also a proud parent of Bal Bharati Public School, Noida. We welcome you, sir. Over to you.
Thank you, Kamna ma'am. Good morning, Madam Principal, my co-panelists, the teachers of Balbharti Public School, Noida, and dear students. It's a privilege actually to be a part of this webinar and represent the parent fraternity on this important topic, which not only our affects us today, but it has a long-lasting impact for our future generations to come. Just wondering, like how the technology has evolved. Now we have me from Riyadh and Saurav from Australia, two opposite parts of the world, and we have the whole BBPS Noida there in the middle in India, with a total time gap of about 8 hours between me and Saurav. I think with the daylight saving, I think he has now 7 hours of a difference. That's how the technology has brought us closer. Uh, Coming back to the main topic, this World Health Day, 7th April, WHO brings up, every year brings up a theme to really celebrate this World Health Day. This year, this our planet and our health is a very relevant topic and an important topic, which I personally connect very well because of my profession, being in an agri input industry or a fertilizer industry, to be very specific. We call it crop nutrition. When you talk about fertilizer, we call it crop nutrition. I was wondering, coming at the last to talk about on this topic, it is both an advantage and a bit of a disadvantage in a way that you lot of the points gets covered by the earlier panelists, but at the same time you get an advantage to pick up points from the previous panelists, which you can actually put together and try and sum up. Uh, and I see a beautiful connect between what Survi, Ritika, and Saurav has talked about good health and good nutrition. And when Ritika talked upon this nutrition aspects and good food and quality of the nutrients, she talked about those micronutrients, and she talked about zinc and iodine and all these things in the food elements of it. Students actually, and to this whole group who is sitting here, we need to also really look back and see from where all these nutrients in our food comes. All these nutrients in our food actually comes from this mother earth where we grow our crops, and these plants, they take up these nutrients and then convert it into the grain, and the store it in the grain, and we get healthy foods, and we get nutritious foods. And from where I connect myself and my profession into that whole food chain and a value chain, I feel excited that we are really serving a beautiful cause of this whole human health and nutrition and the well-being of all of us. when we develop fertilizers and start selling those fertilizers into the market, we also emphasize that how these crops can be grown healthy and how they can produce more and how the grain outputs from the crop can be more nutritious. And just to let you very simple glimpses of it, the entire industry is now working towards how we can fortify these crops through a better fertilizer management. Say we are talking about fortifying selenium, fortifying iodine, fortifying zinc, boron, all these micronutrients into the grain, and all that can be fed and supplied through the fertilizers that we apply to the soil. And this is how it's beautifully connected. And when we grow this food, it's all about how we make our earth, our planet sustainable to continue to produce that kind of an yield. And here I would like to connect itself to say that when we talk about health and wellness as a combined expression of physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, social, financial, occupational, you can add any ALs to that. And it's a combined expression of that. But all that is depends on access to clean air, nutritious food, mental physical well-being and health services. We all talked about all these things. And all these precursors is actually coming from this beautiful planet Earth. And World Health Organization's this year's theme, Our Planet, Our Health, is very well focused on the sustainability aspects of it, that when our health depends on our planet also, the planet's health also depends on us. So when we draw so much things from our planet, it is our duty and responsibility to give back to the planet and take care of this planet so that it sustains life for a long time to come. Around the world, I mean, Saurav can and reflect on that very well, how the Great Barrier Reef in Australia, this is a major growing concern about how those pollution and things are happening around that. And it's a major global climate change and environmental concern that is coming up in Australia, part of it. And it's there everywhere. You take any country, any national leader, their main focus is about sustainability, climate change, how we can make our planet more resilient, more sustainable to support life for generations to come. And it is at this stage very important that when we focus on our good nutrition, good habits for our good health, it's also important to give back to the planet and take care of the planet. And these things can start from the childhood. And as a parent, I think it is our responsibility also to inculcate those good habits, those greener habits in our children. Make it a dinner table discussion about the sustainability. We may be in many different professions. I work in agri input industry, Saurav works in a software industry, Ritika works in a nutrition industry, there are some engineers, there are some lawyers. But if you really reflect back in every profession, in every organization, this sustainability aspect is the main hot topic today. We always in our work professions try and make our activities and approach more sustainable and more environment friendly. How are we bringing those good habits to our children? Now, my message to the young talent minds there from Bharati Public School Noida is, whenever you interact with your parents, talk about these sustainability topics. And I believe some parents probably there online and watching this webinar. I want to reflect upon this as a parent, that it is our responsibility now that we make our children more responsible, more sensitive towards the well-being of our planet. Because if we are not sensitive and responsible for the well-being of our planet, the planet will not be able to sustain us and not be able to help us to lead a good, healthy life. And at the end, probably it's just a matter of, I mean, we're coming to the conclusion of the time actually. A very short message, like we call it as a Dharti Ma, we call it Mother Earth, and we give Earth, our planet, the status of mother. And mother takes care of us, and we must take care of our mother. And let this word mother not remain only in our words, but it should get reflected in our actions, so that we take care of our mother and mother keeps taking care of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Sahu, for summing up this panel discussion so beautifully. Thank you so much. I would like to thank each one of you, all the panelists today, for making this session an enriching one. Now, for the vote of thanks, I would like to invite Janvi Tandon, President, Health and
Thank you,
Wellness
ma'am.
Club. Over to you, Janvi.
Greetings, everyone. This session has truly been an enlightening and informative experience for each one of us. We have learned about the significance of a healthy planet and a healthy society. I, on behalf of Bal Bharti Public School, Noida, extend my sincere thanks to Ms. Surbhi Bhalla, Ms. Ritika Samadar, Mr. Saurabh Kaura, and Mr. Manuranjan Sahu, who joined us as panelists today by sparing valuable time from their busy schedule to enlighten us all. On behalf of the Health and Wellness Club, I also want to thank our principal ma'am, Mrs. Asha Prabhakar, for being our main source of motivation and for providing support to make this webinar a huge success. I would like to thank Vice Principal ma'am and headmistresses for their constant support and guidance. With a deep sense of appreciation, I would like to thank the IT team for providing technical support. I also want to thank one and all for attending this session and listening patiently. I am sure that each one of us is leaving this discussion today with a sense of responsibility and motivation for a better planet and a healthy society. Thank you once again for joining this wonderful session. Stay safe and stay happy. Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you,
so much.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you all. Stop recording. Stop recording.